Welcome to Sex Talk Radio, a podcast that explores kink and sex through candid and curious conversations. Join me and expert guests in exploring taboos and unpacking what it means to be kink and sex positive. Recently launched is the GG Savauge. This is an online digital community for women and non-binary people to connect, explore, and learn. It is free through the rest of the year. You can learn more by going to sexysociety.com. That's SEGGSY society.com. Today's episode of Sex Talk Radio is sponsored by the HUD app. HUD is changing the face of casual dating by offering an alternative and empowered approach to commitment-free dating. Go to hudapp.com/sextalk, that's hudapp.com/SEGGS-talk for a week on me. A quick note, the HUD app is available on both iOS and Android and is available to users 18 and over.
Like so many people are.
I mean, so many people are, especially people
Tom
from
Segura,
LA. And you okay, great. Shall I read?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We were just talking about the Comedy Store before we started recording.
Yeah.
And all the great migration of famous LA people to Austin.
The reverse Oregon Trail.
Yeah. You should move here. It's my favorite thing to do.
It's
to try to
definitely growing on me. Yeah.
Yeah. The summers are fucked up, but other than that, it's like good community. Well, I'm really happy you're here. And I think I found you through Boy Slut. I saw like one title of your writing on Cosmo, and I was like, who the fuck is this girl? I need to be not only like want you on the podcast, but like really pretty quickly felt like I just wanted you in my life. And
We're friends now. We're absolutely friends now.
I just felt inspired by how open you were to share your life and your sexuality. And I'm going through a little bit of like the stretchy part of that right now myself. And it was just really inspiring. And also just like, I wanted to read all those fucking adventures.
Thank you.
So you can probably introduce yourself better than I can. I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself. And also let's start off with some of your ridiculously amazing titles.
Yes. Okay.
Articles.
Amazing. I am GG Savauge and I write for Cosmopolitan. I found this niche of writing true story erotica, which is also what I write for Boy Slut and others. But Cosmo is like my mainstay. Yeah. And I love it. We'll go into the whole story, but for now, some titles.
Yes, please.
I banged a Brazilian in Norway 2 hours after my flight landed. And again on my last night in town. Oops. I always
relatable.
feel like saying oops at the end of each one. Like, whoops, I did that.
Maybe that's part of it.
Okay, yeah. I got paid $5,000 per month to date a married couple.
Fun.
Definitely going to talk about that.
Yes, please.
I met a hot guy on the beach. 24 hours later, I had him in a chastity cage.
Yeah, okay, this is why we need 2 hours. We have this.
Right?
I was like,
We're not even reading all the titles. This is one of my favorites I've ever written. Mm-hmm. I popped a real 40-year-old virgin's cherry.
Yay.
Good for him and good for me.
Fuck yeah.
I like this one too.
Yeah.
I turned a random guy who asked me out into my paying foot worshiper.
Amazing.
Oops.
Oops.
Wait, can I do a couple more? I mean, my sugar mama flew me first class to Shanghai so we could have sex without her husband for once.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. This is it's crazy because like I get to read these and see the actual story that happened in my real life.
And everyone else. And do you get off on thinking about everybody else thinking about?
Yes, I'm an introverted exhibitionist, which is literally what this next story was about. For my 30th birthday, my boyfriend helped me live out my stripper fantasy in front of his closest friends. Oh, God. And that's like when I realized I was an introverted exhibitionist was like, I don't like big crowds. I lose energy around lots of people, but I like being seen. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Same,
like
girl.
Public eye, yeah.
And I always make the distinction that introvert is not a personality style. It's not a personality trait. Like you and I are both outgoing.
It's a nervous system.
Yes.
Functionality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then like when you're a kinky motherfucker and you're an introverted things
So
get
are you
complicated.
exhibitionist too?
I'm voyeur. So I really like to watch. Like first time I went to a sex party, there was this gorgeous couple that had sex in the middle of the room. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what have I been doing? So my inner good girl gets nervous about like doing stuff in front of people, like not wanting to make them uncomfortable. Yeah. So definitely more voyeur.
I'm like, sometimes when you say that about your inner good girl, I'm like, what is she even doing in there? I feel like you're a bad girl. We need a term for that though. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I just, I never want to make anybody uncomfortable. I don't know. I just, my turn on is not connected to people watching me.
Okay.
Connected to watching. So I really like, and I found that a lot of guys generally like love showing off or touching themselves in front of me, which is all.
Yes.
Like
do you get into mirrors?
Too. Not
super.
As much,
because I was thinking then you're watching yourself.
Yeah, for like a blowjob.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hot.
What else? Anything else over there?
I passed off my sugar daddy to my best friend in a threesome.
Amazing. Passed off.
As in, it was like
during.
Well, it was a whole weekend, but
fun.
It was a weekend to like, because I had tried out this guy as a potential sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Wasn't feeling the vibe, and horny friend wanted that, so I got us all together for a Palm Springs vacay weekend, and I like
love your life.
I have a thing with insertion, like the moment of insertion of anything into like a pussy or a mouth. It's,
we're so similar,
right? So
there's just
yes, it's like, so in this case, I never had sex with the guy, but in the threesome, they were both down for intercourse, so I got to help put him in her.
This is so hot.
And that was my first story for Cosmo. That's what got me in the door.
How did that happen? So you already had a podcast and you were,
how did Cosmo happen?
Yeah.
Cold pitching for years. I wrote, my background is TV and film, all comedy. So I wrote for like a political comedy show on Fusion, starting in 2018.
Okay.
Only woman in the room, by the way.
Fun.
Only woman. Yeah. And then, wrote a sex magic piece for Cosmo UK, so over in London, but they're kind of separate entities, even though they're all owned by Hearst.
Really quick, how do you define sex magic? I feel like it's
for
everyone. How do you define sex magic?
Oh, yeah. I think it can be done solo or partnered, but for me, it's just using the build of sexual energy and release, whether you orgasm or not, it's always a build and release. And that's what manifestation is. So when you pair those two together, you're making sexual magic, because if you like have an intention while building and releasing sexual energy, you're just amplifying whatever you want. Like,
right. And why could magic not be created when we're like literally having this out of body magical? Like sometimes when I'm orgasming, I'm like, this is not like a human, like, I don't know.
Right. I always consider sex art and magic, because it's like, well, art, it's literally the most creative act there is. It's how you create life. And then magic, what I described with the build and release of energy, like it's ritualistic, it's primal, it's base in a way. And I think magic is simple like that. So I always say, like, never waste an orgasm. I literally like sometimes even if I forget and I'm still in the afterglow, I'll like grab my pussy and be like, wait, what do I want? What am I manifesting? And I'll just think it.
Well, you guys, she's been manifesting some big shit.
Right. So I got that one.
Off for it as well.
Thank you. That's what manifestation is. It's not just like.
I had that happen this week. I was in Victim, and my life coach was like, "You gotta fucking have some action here, baby." And it was like made $7,000 the next day.
Oh, I love to hear that. And I was like, turns me on
because I'm so action that I'm not in the intention. I'm so masculine in the doing that she was like, switch into like action and like trust that it's all gonna fucking
and
work
being
out.
open to receiving. That's huge with the magic.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So many clicks.
UK sex magic.
Right. So got that one article out, and then still just pitching cold for years.
Wow.
You watch Twitter, you get on job lists, and you just wait until editors give their email for pitch calls, and then you just keep submitting. I mean, I must have gotten at least 50 no's with my editorial writing.
This is an entrepreneurial message
2 years.
for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Keep fucking going.
Yeah, and then it's like, even with Cosmo, my editor opened up a pitch call, and I was like months late to the pitch call because I was in this phase where I was thinking, oh, I finally have money from sex work. I'm gonna hire a PR person, but the person I chose wasn't very helpful, and so I was basically trying to pass off my own marketing, and then she just let it sit for 2 months. But regardless, right time, right place. I fired her. And I submitted myself. I pitched myself again, and it was the right editor, the right stories,
Fuck
that
yeah.
threesome story you just
Yes.
heard about, and literally have not stopped having deadlines since then.
That is so
Yeah.
amazing. I was looking at your website again last night, and I was just like so
you.
blown away, and just
Thank you. I made it myself.
what I really admire is like let's talk about myself for a second before I go
Please
there.
do.
I have so many skills. They're so diverse, and sometimes I feel a little fucking crazy about it.
Yes.
Like, whoa. And when I found your website, this bitch has an oracle deck.
Yeah.
She does writing. She does comedy. She's got guided masturbation meditations. She has, I mean, I was
An
just like,
OnlyFans.
an OnlyFans. I just kept going through these rabbit holes, and I was like, this is so, you're affirming my,
Right. That
like,
you can be multifaceted.
very multifaceted.
It used to freak me out when I'd meet people and they'd be like, what do you do? It's so nice that now right now I can just say Cosmo. Like, you get it.
Yeah.
But in the past, I'd struggle with how to answer that question because
Right.
how
You also
much
want to be
time do you
taken
have?
seriously
Yeah.
as well. Like, yeah, you want it to hit.
Yes, and be understandable.
Right.
And if you might overwhelm them, but good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad
Really
to,
impressed. And it's also that thing of like, I look at that and I admire the shit out of it. And so then just the
So
stretch
then
of
think
looking
about
at
that for you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're back with an oracle deck. So, I mean, I don't even know where to start because we just have a lot of rabbit holes.
I
But
know.
I would love for you to chat about where you grew up and younger life.
Yeah.
And just, dive
Okay,
all
so
in. Life stories.
Picture yourself in small town Ohio outside of Cleveland. Yes.
Great.
Up on Lake Erie. Definitely didn't realize how beautiful and picturesque it was until I moved away and came back. But I grew up there from 0 to 15 in a ultra Catholic household.
Okay.
So my parents so believed in the rules that they had 8 kids in 13 years, starting from age 21. Like, it was just like,
I'm having
babies.
so many kinky guests on with strict religious
Duh.
upbringings.
It's like, where does the money can come from? Where does the exhibition come from? It's obvious. My parents were teachers and had 8 kids, so we just didn't really have money growing up. But I was really rich in love. I was like supported, and though my parents were mostly out of the house all the time working to try to make ends meet for all these children, I somehow felt very loved, which lately I've just been so grateful for because even with financial insecurity growing up, I had like self-esteem, and I had like that base of knowing I was loved. I caught myself saying self-esteem because I'm like, wait, girl, no, you totally went through like eating disorder and the classic, hating yourself teenage years. But no, it's okay. It's okay. We came through and we were like, honestly, I think I'm one of the most in love with myself people, hopefully not in a narcissistic way, but like I'm my own champion. Like, I got on my own team. Yeah.
Well, it works.
It works. Yes. I even used to teach people how to do it. I called it learn to fly, learn to fucking love yourself.
Cute.
And like these techniques for actual practices from therapy on how to get on your own fucking team. Because like when you're not, you're just making your own life harder, and that doesn't help you or anyone around you.
Or you're using other people's energy and validation to try to help
and
you
depending
fly,
on
which,
it.
Yes, which
Yeah.
never really works.
Yeah. So basically fucked the religious shame out over the years.
Okay. When did that start?
I would say
We jumped.
after we jumped. So 0 to 15 in Ohio, got into an acting high school. So I switched for high school. I moved to New York City when I was 15 and lived with one of my older brothers.
Holy fuck.
It could be a sitcom. This part of my life could be a sitcom.
Yeah. Wait, how did the parents get down with
Well,
that?
because I was the youngest of the 8, they had kind of seen it all.
Yeah.
My siblings had done everything, been arrested,
15.
blown away, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. And because I could live with one of my older brothers, he became my guardian. So they felt.
How old was he?
He was in college or in law school.
Okay.
So probably like how old is
like
that?
a grounded adult.
Yeah,
his
like
energy,
a grounded
that's
adult. Maybe late 20s, early
Yeah.
30s.
Wow.
I love that I don't know. It's hard with my family because to keep track of all those.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah, I kind of have to like count like how many years above me. So we lived together in an apartment.
Whoa.
He went to law school. I went to acting high school. And I actually really matured then because growing up in small town Ohio, it's boring and everyone drinks at like age 13 and just gets
I grew
blackout.
up in small town Alaska. We just, Just drugs.
even
Just
worse,
drugs.
like just hard drugs.
Yeah.
So in New York, I kind of like cleaned up as a 15-year-old and became a mini adult, you know.
Oh,
It was like college. It was like
Yeah.
college for high school. And then I stayed and got an art degree in New York City. And the second I spoke at graduation, I was a little smarty.
Yes.
Like, and then literally gave a speech at Radio City Music Hall, got in the car and started my drive to LA. I could not get out fast enough.
Whoa.
I was like,
the day you graduated
college.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was it a culture shock when you were 15 and moved there?
Yeah, I didn't even put shoes on when I got out of the car. And my mom was like, you're in New York City. You have to have shoes on at all times.
The cornfield was back there. Oh my God.
And also, you know, experiencing like Jewish holidays and multiple faiths instead of this little bubble, and not all white people finally. Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. So important to get the fuck
You
out.
know-
If you're young listening to this, please get out.
please just run. No,
Right
run.
here.
So, and then I feel like, and I was in this relationship from 18 to 26, like a
Whoa.
traditional, most of the time monogamous. I thought I wanted a boyfriend life.
7 years.
Yep. Yeah.
When
It was
you
actually
got
8
to
in the
LA
end.
or prior?
So 4 years in New York, 4 years in LA. So we
Okay.
moved together.
Mhm.
And the major healing starts after that breakup because I didn't see it coming. I was so loyal. And meanwhile, my friends who know that person now are like, what were you doing? Like
Yeah.
different leagues, but I was like dating down.
Yep. Sometimes it feels safe and comfy, and I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Been there.
But I pushed for us to open that relationship eventually in the LA chapter. I was like, I gotta have more. This is my 20s. Like, I don't.
What was your sex like with that partner? Like, was
I
it-
had the higher sex drive, and looking at us, you wouldn't believe it. And then so I felt like a freak because
Sure.
I felt like,
unequal.
yeah, something's wrong with me that I want so much sex, and also there's that, you know, misnomer that like women don't want sex as much or aren't as sexual or whatever.
So it inherently feels
Wrong.
like something's wrong. Yeah.
And this is the process of the unfucking the religion stuff out because I would still cry after sex with him, my long-term boyfriend, because I thought it was so wrong and bad and
Whoa.
and I wasn't even like
Look at you
masturbating.
now.
You know, she exploded. 180.
Wow.
So he suddenly dumped me a few days after our like 8-year anniversary. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. That was like the beginning of the freedom. I did not skip a beat. I immediately got on Seeking Arrangements. I was like, I don't have to ask his permission anymore. Cause I asked him, can I just go on this site? I think I really am into like money. I think I'm into the idea.
But you were like aware of it as a kink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
money kink.
Okay. That's very self-aware.
And he was like, no.
Yeah.
So then less than 2 weeks after the breakup, I'm like crying, you know, listening to sad music, and then turned it around, got on that site and started exploring sugar dating.
So when
So
was
that was like 7 years ago.
Okay.
Was my first sugar dating.
Do you remember like your
foray.
first couple dates or dates?
Yeah,
What were they?
girl. I was learning those
Don't mind
lessons.
sharing,
I
yeah.
do want to share so other
Yeah.
girls could maybe skip those.
Same.
So like first off, got this guy long distance through the site that was going to be interested in like paying me to interrupt him while he was at work, sort of like video chat in while he's in his office and be like sexy on camera. But it was like such a low rate, $50 an hour.
Yeah. Pro tip: don't do the long distance stuff. To
Yeah.
anyone listening, like that's
Yeah.
what I've encountered. I started messaging with a guy, and he was submissive, and I was like, oh, this could be fun. And then it was kind of like, well, like yeah, I usually do like $100. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit.
No, exactly.
The long distance. Yeah.
Watch out.
Careful.
Yeah. And now what's interesting in full circle is that guy made me think that he was going to be sponsoring this shopping spree from afar. And my favorite designer for the longest time has been Stacey Bennett of Alice and Olivia. So I went to an Alice and Olivia store. I tried on this amazing outfit. The stylist helped me head to toe look,
Had
sent
your
him the
little
pictures.
moment. Yeah.
Yes, thought I was going to be walking out with it. And then it was like a scam, basically. He didn't pay for anything. So I didn't get anything. But get this. we're gonna jump forward in the story just for a second.
Yeah.
To relay the full circle. So then cut to like those, I guess 6 years later at that point, I started sugar dating my first submissive. So this is when I'm now in my sugar goddess chapter where I'm dominant instead of being a sugar baby, submissive.
Oh, I didn't put that together.
I made it up. I made it up.
No,
But
I just like sugar goddess in general, regardless of power dynamics.
Yes, sugar goddess. And on my very first date with this submissive, we go to brunch and afterwards on a $1,600 shopping spree at Alice and Olivia, where we got this jacket, which is like $600.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And a bunch of other stuff. And like,
sometimes it's just
full circle.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just worth it. Like, to keep going, to keep dating.
So that was, okay, now we're back to when I'm in my 20s as a sugar baby trying to figure it out. Okay, second big mistake I made, probably the next person I tried to get, is an in-person guy in LA. Obviously older than me, but not that old, more like 40s, which honestly, that's kind of also a red flag. I think you got to be above 50.
Oh, really?
I
to
think
be super rich? Or
to be super rich and to also just be more mature. Like, I think like in the 40s,
we're already in the 50s?
Still hard.
Fuck me. Because like, I mean, I definitely struggle to date anybody in their 20s or 30s.
I
unless
know.
they're like a fun play toy kind of thing.
Yes,
But then
yes.
40s is generally where I like to land. But then when I think about having some babies with somebody in their 40s, I'm like, then we're like 70-year-old parents. Like,
Oh, okay. I didn't know you want kids. Okay.
well, I want kids, and I can also just see
changes it.
myself actually like meeting a person from
Yeah,
Seeking.
yeah, like a
like
full
I've had really
relationship.
pleasant experiences on Seeking, which we
Yes.
can talk about. But anyways, yeah, I guess we got to go to the 50s.
Right. Okay. For me, I'm not going to have kids in this lifetime. I don't want them. So it's easy to be like, whatever age. But no, I just feel like sometimes the ones in their 40s are still man children. Like, honestly, I also love them to be divorced or have at least been married.
Yes.
They've been trained.
Yes, they've been trained. They really know what they
That's
want.
good. Yeah. So if you're going
They
above
really know
50,
how to treat a woman.
they're
Yeah.
more likely to be trained.
The ones, the guys that I've dated, both on Seeking and not, that have a divorce under their belt, like
It's better, right? Okay. So this guy was like 40s. And it's like, okay, right? With sugar dating, it's a long game and a short game. But my short game wasn't on yet. So I was playing only the long game and I was trusting him too much. The long game of like immediately talking about our allowance, what the monthly allowance is going to be. But then I had sex with him. I had sex with him before receiving any money.
Right.
Cardinal rule. Get the money first. I just want everyone to know that, like, money first.
Yeah.
And you know, sugar dating is not exactly a direct exchange. It's not like
It's
being
so
in
gray
the brothel.
area.
It's so gray area.
Oh God, the brothel. We have so much to talk about.
I know. So it's not like you can exactly say.
I've never been paid prior, but it's never been I'll pay you once a month later. Like that,
Right.
you know,
It
like,
should have
cause I find that the gray area, cause I've never done I've never done escorting where there's more of like that direct upfront amount in exchange, but like with sugar baby stuff, it definitely has been, when it's worked out, it's been a clear amount that we've discussed prior.
Yeah.
And for any girls interested, like there's the PPM, it's like kind of like a pay per meet.
Yes, right.
Or there's a monthly allowance that I would say would evolve after you've gone on multiple dates with somebody and it's like a vibe and you can see yourself long term with them.
But the difference is like, back then when I was first figuring it out, all I ever got from that guy was pad thai and macarons. Like, that's literally all he ever gave me. The first meeting, obviously you always do the first meeting in public, was like bagels and coffee. Whereas what I've graduated to now, it's like first of all, he was already paying for my expensive ass hair appointments before we even met. That's over
Your
$500, my current. And he took me on a $1,600 shopping spree day one. Also, the date was like fancy. You know what I mean? You just have to aim higher. So like, I was like scraping the bottom of the barrel at the beginning.
Well, I mean, I just think there's a huge lesson too in terms of like, and I've said this before on here, it's like you have the two most unqualified people to create a transaction, a negotiation. It's like you have generally a young girl in her 20s who probably hasn't done any type of sex work, and you have an older guy that also doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yep.
So it's like...
And is uncomfortable about it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. He doesn't want it to feel transactional, but he also completely wants these boundaries and these... this casual
This
nature
arrangement.
to it. Yeah. So for the women, it's like, just talk about the numbers. If you feel uncomfortable, don't talk about it on the website, take it off the website, but like talk about the numbers.
So I feel like I want to give some tips now of what I've
Yes,
learned about talking
please.
numbers and being more comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So part of my weeding technique, I guess, like sifting technique on sites like Seeking is getting to a phone call as fast as possible to read their energy. And when I'm in that phone call, I talk about their past experience with sugar dating because it places the discomfort like not on you or them. You're talking about something in the past that's already done. It's kind of separate from you guys. It's almost like we're not talking about a transaction or money. We're just talking about what was your past experience.
Right.
Oh, how did you structure your arrangement? Did you do an allowance? How did you guys work out your allowance? And it's like, it's separate. So you're not asking them about you yet.
Right.
It makes it just way more comfortable. And then I love using things like rent, like lump sums in my life that can be easy to talk about.
Right.
So it's like, I'm going to make up numbers.
Rather than like,
but-
I just want $5,000 a month. It's like, my rent is this.
yeah,
much,
like, oh, my rent is, let's say, $3,000 a month. It would
in
be
LA.
right. Like not even, it's bad.
Please don't.
And then kind of shaping it like it would be always with a feeling like, you know, my rent is $3,000 a month. It would be just such a relief if I could like not worry about that, so I can get back to designing the second version of the sexiest deck alive.
Yes.
And always talking about like your projects and your goals too, your career.
And men on Seeking fucking love that.
They
because
love
there are
that.
thousands of just like gorgeous young 20 girls that are just bopping around and like doing their thing. But like, I mean, I have a lot of the conversations where they're just like, why are you here? And I'm like, I'm here because I actually really want to meet somebody that's entrepreneurial and successful and Austin in the tech space, yada, yada. So they're sometimes confused, like why I'm there. But then I also,
because you don't need to be, right?
Right. But then I also blow them away. They're like, oh, I can actually talk about business and scaling a company with you and like doing all this cool shit. And they love that. So yeah, if you're entrepreneurial, have hobbies, like talk about it.
Beauty and brains.
Yes.
Beauty and brains. That's how you're going to rise to like the top echelon, you know? Exactly. Because you need to be able to have a conversation or if it's not what you want, if you do want just casual transactional-ish, then you don't have to do that. But like if you want to play the long game, exactly. So really giving them a job to do too, missions and jobs for them. Like, oh my gosh, I'm flying to Austin next month to record this podcast and like I just really need to like buy myself some time so I can finish this work. And then they swoop in. It's like, what could I do? Do you need a massage or could I pay these bills so that you have the time? Like shaping it to where they're on a mission to like save you, even though you don't need saving. But they love having a mission and they love feeling useful.
Men love fixing things.
Yes.
Feeling useful. Yeah.
Yes. So and then like being, like I said, ballpark with the numbers and using things kind of specifically, but separate from you, like rent, utilities, certain equipment. Like when I needed film equipment, that was a really good way to break in with someone. Like
or equipment,
sex
toys, and lingerie. And
actually start with that because then it benefits them too.
That's actually very great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, if you are on a site like Seeking, make the wish list. Make the wish list. Yes, because it shows that, oh my gosh, my current person, they looked at my wish list. You can see when someone looks at it. And they looked like 10 times. They kept looking and I was like, oh, good. They're seeing. But anyways, you want to put on there like things that show your taste level. So they can either be scared away and get rid of them, or they can be like, oh, I can support this woman. Like I put Tom Ford fucking fabulous on there. That's like,
okay.
That perfume is, I think, in the 4 figures. Like it's like very expensive. I don't even really want it. It's just to show.
Like I'm a classy bitch.
Yes. And then also I put sexy things on there too, like whips and things that show I'm dominant, you know?
Yes.
And also hot lingerie and get that in their head.
Yeah. So if we were walking a newbie through, I would say like the steps, I would say like you start having a conversation, get a phone number once there's a few messages.
Use a Google Voice number too to start off.
Yes.
Don't use your real number.
I have a whole second phone because of this damn podcast. But use one of the fake number things so you can always really easily block and delete people. I've blocked so many people. And And then, phone call, or like, I really fucking love FaceTime.
Ooh, even
Love
better.
FaceTime. I've been using it in my dating life a lot. And honestly, within the first 10 seconds, I know if there's a vibe or not. Or I know if I could see myself sleeping with them.
Yeah.
Which, yes, you generally have to sleep with them. Like, that's
Right.
one of the other main questions I get.
Yep.
We should talk about that. But yeah, so.
The way you said that was so yes, you generally have to sleep with them.
Because when I tell my friends I've done it, they're like, oh my God, I would so love to do that. But like, just like get money and go on dates. And I'm like, well.
But you know what's so funny? It's like, as women, you've probably casually had sex with someone that was annoying or put you off, or like you regretted it the next day anyways. Why not make
500 to 1,000? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the process? Exactly.
Yes. It's been weird dating for
not money.
now.
I know.
Sound like a fucking
Our
asshole.
lives
But
now.
yeah. So
true.
get on a call or FaceTime as soon as possible. And in that process,
Ask
explore some
about their past.
negotiation.
Exactly.
Yes,
Negotiate.
ask
Ask about
about
their past arrangements and how they structured it. And then if they don't have any,
Yeah.
girl, you either fake it till you make it like you have and you lay out the history of yours,
Right.
or you tell the history of yours.
I generally don't like to go on dates from Seeking, or haven't, with anybody that doesn't have past experiences. So I actually
it's
would.
so much work.
Yeah. So I would actually ask that before I even met up with before I even got the
Perfect.
phone number. That's one of my first vetting questions. Like, hey, how are you?
Nice.
Also, acknowledge something in their bio, like make them feel seen, because a lot of men will send you copy and paste messages on Seeking. So like, take a moment to go find something special, acknowledge it, start a conversation. Generally, you should be the one reaching out, and then ask some weeding out questions, and then fucking talk to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
meet in person. And like, for me, I'd like to generally make it clear, like, there's nothing's gonna happen on the
Yeah.
let's just get coffee
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Make them wait for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole process. It's a long game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you encounter any type of shame or anything doing that process, or talking or sharing about it? Because I just shared that this has been a part of my life.
Oh, I know. I'm like, you seem so comfortable now. I forget that you've just kind
Make
of
it till
come
you
out.
make it.
She's good.
I
She was
actually
good.
no, but I mean, I feel very safe with you. Like, I was
Yeah.
telling you shit right when we got on our first Zoom call that I haven't
Yes.
told anyone. I was like, okay, here we go.
We're in.
So you were a catalyst in the sense that, like, once I realized how big a part of your life it currently was, I was like, I want to really be able to talk about this on our episode.
Yeah. Well, and also kind of how we started out this episode, and you were saying that reading my titles of what I've done and stuff and how I'm so open about it.
Yeah.
It's like at this point, I forget that I do put my life on blast, because
So intimately.
so intimately that I guess because I'm just so my shame-o-meter is like so low now to even like maybe almost even the negative numbers of being shameless, like that it's hard to think back. Was there shame in this process? But yes, there definitely was. Like I said, the crying with the long-term boyfriend after sex, like that was till age 26. Then we've got probably 2.5 years there of like where I'm starting to explore this. I'm making the mistakes. I'm hiding it from everyone and everything. So yeah, definitely shame still. And then it's just like over, I would say like 5 years of hiding it. Because it was only in the last couple that I started talking about this.
Yeah. And it's the societal thing. It's like, not that I don't actually feel shame about it when I'm talking to somebody like you or a friend.
Exactly.
It's fun,
Okay.
it's adventurous, it's sexy.
Societal, yes, that was the big umbrella. But then I realized in therapy, for me, eventually I didn't care about the societal stuff anymore. It was now boiled down to I just care about if my family finds out, my religious family.
Yeah.
So then it was about 1.5 years of holding the secret just for them. Then I was sexually assaulted in 2019.
Oh, wow.
I guess we'll have a trigger warning earlier for this, but
I have one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. It was a very rare type of assault because it was a home invasion by a stranger.
Oh, honey.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, honey.
Thank you, EMDR therapy, because I can fully talk about it. It's fully healed. So talk about like, you know, your life flashing before your eyes, life or death
Such a big
trauma.
trauma.
Yeah,
You probably
capital
thought
T
you were gonna
trauma.
die.
I did think I was going to die.
Yeah.
I did die. A version of me died. Actually, that's when I legally changed my name to GG Savauge. Was after that. I was like, we need a new life. We're starting over. But it was such a gift, and probably other people who've healed from trauma will say the same thing, because it woke me up into my present life where I realized that last bit of holding on to this secret for my family wasn't worth it. It was not worth it because I saw how quickly life can end. And I was like, no, I don't have shame. I don't. So why am I living my life for my parents' religion's ideas?
And to keep other people safe
What's
from
the
their
point?
own.
From their own shame or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
so the trauma really helped me be
Wow.
like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's when I got on OnlyFans, which is where
Wow.
GG comes from, my name, because
Yeah.
my persona on there is good ass goddess.
Oh.
But I would always shorten it to GG.
Yeah.
And that started in 2020.
Okay.
And I always sign off sexo, GG. And so I just became GG. And then
Wow.
from there, so we're going back to the timeline. So from there, I was able to allow myself to get on OnlyFans without the shame anymore and to be public. And that led to starting at the brothel because I was like, wait, I have this money kink. Now I'm at least like online. I don't do sexual acts or like pornography on my OnlyFans, but I do artistic, sensual nudity and
Okay.
like I paint with my body, etc.
Fun.
Yeah, I make like sensual music videos. And so then I was like, if I'm doing all that, what if I could live out my fullest extent of my money fantasy, which is being a high-end hoe? Like,
Was
being
the
a-
brothel in that fantasy
So I
specifically?
didn't know it was because I pictured it as like in London, like a high-end call
Escort.
girl escort. Yeah. But then I had this friend who's very savant. She's kind of genius. And she has done all this like cataloging and research of all the brothels. And she found the best one.
She's worked at them
But she read all the books by the people who worked at them and like figured it out
for you.
for us because she had the same money king.
Okay.
So then
besties.
besties, truly bestie whores, like, and she's also an artist too, like a multifaceted artist like us. So it was just creative women who have this money kink and want to live it out. So she found the best one, and then I was like, oh well, that's a thing. You can just apply on a website to
Yeah.
work at a brothel, and it's legal.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I was like,
wouldn't-
done. Applied immediately. Done. Became GG there as well. So then
Done
so-
because of you had explored how erotic it was for you to get paid for sex.
Exactly, which was the sugar dating. Because we skipped it, but you heard it in the article. I had this married couple for years that I sugar dated. So I was getting the taste, but actually I wanted something more transactional.
Wow.
Because the ultimate fantasy for me is the more transactional.
Yeah.
I love it.
Getting fucked,
I love
getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's hot.
And at the brothel,
Where does this shit come from? We talked about this on our call.
I know.
Growing up in poverty. I mean,
That
there's
is where it comes
there's
from.
complex layers here.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
it's
But
such
I
a kink.
also-
It's such
But
a
I
kink
also
of mine.
think, does it come from like past lives as temple goddesses where, I forget how you say it. There's an Indian word for it, like Devati or something. The sexual goddesses who lived in the temple, and basically sex workers were who was worshipped. They thought they were goddesses on earth, and like the
Before the
patrons.
patriarchy got really strongly developed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the
sexual
patrons would
women were
bring the tributes and the money.
damn.
Which is how the language of my OnlyFans is all like, I'm the goddess, you're the mortals, these are your tributes to me. Like it's very role play.
Yeah.
And so yeah, going to the actual brothel feels to me kind of like
Wow.
a past life too. Kind of feels like I'm in the right
Wow.
spot.
And I think I shared this with you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but like growing up, I had some weird past life fantasy shit about doing sex work when it was so not even something I'd seen movies on or anything. It was
Like,
a
how
very-
did you know
I
that?
don't know, but it's like it's remains hot and kinky for me now.
Right? Me too. So yeah, that
yeah.
transactional, like, I think it's the power, because money is power.
exchange, but the pussy's more power.
And the pussy's the
pussy's
ultimate power.
the most power, ladies.
Duh, like the pussy is God. Like complete.
Should trademark that too.
Period. Like, yeah, so getting that, like, here's the dollar amount. And it's that I want you to want me. And it's like, you want me so bad that you are you're using 2 credit cards to split this $10,000 charge at the brothel, like, because you want me that bad.
Damn, girl.
That you're like, and then getting the ATM cash
Wow.
to tip me after.
Wow.
What? How hot? You know, like you're saying,
Yes.
this is how fucking
Yes.
bad I want you.
And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting how fucking fun it is to spend money and to shop and to do all of the
Yes,
things. Like,
endorphins.
yeah.
Luxury.
For me, like, I'm generally pretty maxed out financially because of all my business endeavors. And
Yeah.
so like, you know, when I was doing sugar baby daddying,
Another new one.
sugar babying last year, it was like, that was like fun fuck you money. Like, you know, which I'd never really had that
You're like, I
experience.
can get my nails done more than once
Yeah.
this month or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah, it was really fun.
Good. I'm glad you have that. I know it's interesting because there's like, you know, the negative context of consumerism and materialism, but then there's also like what I'm aiming to do. I think I told you I'm a Robin whore. Like I am trying to get in that 1%, you guys. Get that money and redistribute as much wealth as I can. I'm hiring queer artists to commission things. I'm like, I hire my gay friends to help with like my house or my shoots or whatever I can. I'm making that wealth
Distribute that wealth,
spill.
baby. Yeah.
And then I do also let him buy me this $700 jacket or whatever, because whatever, I deserve it and it's art. I treat it as art. It's like this is my art collection. I'm not. You know, it's not fast
and they
fashion.
can also be experiences as well.
Experiences.
Like, you know, save up the sugar,
the
daddy
treatment,
money.
the pampering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, our cup needs to be full to runneth over. So I do let him. I do have the massage membership. I do get the nails and hair done. Like,
are you comfortable sharing about your current
yeah,
arrangement?
yeah. So
I'd love to know more.
it's a jackpot situation, you guys.
Heck yeah, tell us.
And this is an exclusive, a Sex Talk Radio, because I have never talked about this. I don't usually talk about current relationships, but here we are, world premiere, ow, ow. And there will be a Cosmo article on it soon anyway. So I'm like, I'm okay with talking about it.
Put down the groundwork.
Yes, yes. So what I have currently is, I would say, in my opinion, the most ideal jackpot sugar dating situation because it's long-term, it's extremely loving and comfortable. It is a real relationship.
Yeah.
Now it evolved into that. And it is a Dom sub relationship. I am the Dom.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. So this is my first big where I said I transitioned from sugar baby into sugar goddess. And to me, that means, you know, I'm calling the shots. I manifested someone who worships me. And I was able to do that because I had my years of experience in the brothel now. And I kind of came back to the sugar game with this new
dynamic, power
dynamic and sense of worth.
Wow.
Because in the brothel, it's such an extreme setting where you get to charge whatever you want. You make your own prices there.
I want to talk about that too.
So with that under my belt, where I was seeing like,
I make the rules. People will pay them.
Yes. And you know what else I learned is that there are so many starving men in a way of they are starved for giving and to a woman who can receive.
Interesting.
They're starved for giving to a woman who can receive, as in maybe they have wives or girlfriends, but their partners are closed off to receiving. So they're not getting to pamper them and dote on them and worship them, and they crave it. They want to like bow down.
Or have intimacy.
Yeah, really more of them than you expect. They want to bow down. Also, they want a finger in the butt. Like it's
Oh my God.
those are these submissive sides to men that get overlooked in our society, but that like
Definitely.
I swear they all have
I
it.
love submissive men.
I'm right, they're the best.
They're so sweet.
And it's just, I swear it's more of them than you think.
Yeah.
So anyways, I saw that not only are there a lot of men out there who want to give to women, but they will worship and spend lots of money in the process. And I just saw, I mean, making 5 figures for a matter of an hour or two. So that's like 10,000 and above.
Yeah, I'm like,
Okay, so making like, and that's
what?
not at all uncommon in the brothel.
Wait,
Not
come
uncommon.
back. Let's take us back. For how
Yeah.
long with a person? For
So like for couples, my average is like,
couples?
oh yeah, you can see couples
Oh,
there.
okay.
Sometimes that's easier to get into the 5 figures because it's more bodies and they're more understanding and maybe they have 2 incomes, whatever. So
Holy
like
fuck.
think like 12 to 15,000 for like 2 to 3 hours. Now you're really spending like 4 hours with them for that because there's a lot of process and paperwork and STI check has to happen and all these things like to get to the actual sex.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're selling it for like 2 to 3 hours. And then a lot of like 10K for 1 to 2 hours. A lot of like quickies are like $4,500 for 45 minutes, I would say, is like a gold standard quickie, which will really be
fuck balls.
it'll really be like an hour and a half with all the
At
things.
all the legal brothels? Or like you're at the
I'm at one of the premier, like I would say it's considered one of the classiest ones in vibe because they're all kind of themed. Some are like Wild West, like
God.
you know. This one is kind of themed like girlfriend experience. But no, I think it happens at all of them. And then also keep in mind, like within the brothel, it's a rotating roster of ladies all the time. And all ladies are running their own business. You're an independent contractor.
Okay.
So there are no set prices except the minimums. You have to be above the minimum, but that's not a lot. So ladies charge all different. And also I'm giving you averages. Like I have done $1,500 10-minute quickies. Like I've done lower prices when it's like a really cute person or it's a fun vibe or I just feel like having a cherry on top. I already had a good day, whatever.
Damn,
or it's kinky or it's like.
I don't know. I might need to do a stint. So fucking
I
hot.
recommend it. I actually, a lot of people who've heard my interviews or who are friends with me have also done stints now and like had major success.
Wow.
Because they saw how possible it is.
We should open a brothel.
1,000%. Because all the current ones are owned by men, bitch.
Of course they are. And they look weird.
And that's
I've watched lots of documentaries.
It's stuck. They're
we want a
stuck
woman's touch,
They're
don't we?
stuck in the 80s.
Yeah.
They're stuck in the 70s and 80s.
Yep.
Like decor wise.
Okay, so there's something I wanted to go back to with the process and the paperwork and the STI check. Like, what's interesting is like on hookup apps or on Seeking, it's very like can often be this horny energy of like I want to fuck like tonight, like right now, I would like to fuck. And so it's fascinating to me. I imagine this sweet little innocent couple that really wants to have a threesome and they're driving out there. It's like a couple hour drive and they're filling out their paperwork and getting STI. Like it's this whole fucking thing. And it's just kind of funny because it takes out that like almost that stigma or perception too, that it's just a bunch of like horny dudes that aren't getting laid or like whatever these perceptions are of like people making it this really intentional outing and experience and like it's got like a cute little visual.
It's like their luxury vacation that they're doing for themselves, or it's like their time away from the kids and like they're gonna go crazy. And my job is kind of to make all that stuff, make them forget about all that stuff that just happened. You know, make them forget that I had to just have them pantsless in my bathroom wiping alcohol on their genitals.
Holy
like
shit.
I have to, the courtesan is the one who does the STI check.
Wow.
So like, and that's before any of the paperwork or money. Like you've agreed to everything, but you then check them to make sure they can actually be allowed to participate.
Is it an instant STI result?
Yeah. It's not swabs. It's like visual STI check. Because you're still.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
You're still going. It's called the dick check or the pussy check.
I've heard of this. Yes.
The DC.
Oh my God.
The PC and the DC. And it's visual, so we're trained on like what certain STIs look like, what to look out for, and then we wipe with alcohol to make sure there's nothing open, that if they wince or if it turns too red,
Wow.
But then you're still
not all the glamour ladies,
right?
There's lots
like
of steps.
You have to be like such an artist to make that comfortable for them and to kind of make them forget
Especially
that just
their
happened.
First time.
Yes,
I would assume a lot of people maybe only do something like this once.
Exactly. A lot of people, it's their first time and they're so nervous. I'm like, I have lavender spray, lavender lotion,
Cleanse
like
your aura, relax.
So it's a visual STI check, and then you're still not having any fluid exchange and always using protection. So like that means no kissing on the mouth, no
throughout the whole thing.
What? Yeah.
No
you can kiss
blowjobs?
on closed skin, blowjobs with condoms.
On the dick. Wow.
Or Laurels. Have you heard of Laurels for the ladies? It's wearable latex panties. So basically, instead of holding a dental dam there, you slide on these black latex panties, and it creates a barrier if you were selling a party.
For them going down on
you?
If
they were going to go down on you.
Fascinating.
Which I've done like once or twice in all my time because that it's just like harder to maintain the safety and everything. So I don't really offer it that much. Yeah, it's like rare.
Wow.
But blowjobs with condoms. Yeah.
Okay, safety first, baby.
Yep, which makes it so nice.
What was
like,
your first like time there, first week there, day? Like, do you remember?
I do. Oh my God, my first.
Were you nervous?
I was so nervous, excited.
Yeah.
I started out going very high fashion with my looks there. I was
cute.
in a music video the whole time. Huge, like roughly old Hollywood robe, like
Oh my God.
complete 10-piece lingerie set, huge heels, full makeup and hair, jewels everywhere. Learned very quickly that
were the other ladies like?
they were like, who is that? What is she doing?
They're like, give her a week.
Yeah, totally. They're very nice, but that's
Yeah.
what it was like. Literally that was what I was wearing that very first day. Finally at like 1 a.m. I gave up because I hadn't booked anything. And I showered, and that's when I booked. No makeup, wet hair, threw on a hot
Booked
pink lipstick.
meaning
Oh,
you walked out and talked to somebody?
yeah.
You have a little
Meaning I
right.
got
and like a bar usually.
yes,
Bar setting?
Yes, there's a
Okay.
bar setting. That's where you meet people in the wild. Otherwise, they made an appointment and you meet them in the parlor. If they came specifically to see you, which that happened for me later in my time once I had like a clientele built up. So this was like this rock star actually, which I obviously won't say who, but some of you would know who he is, and all of you who've seen blockbuster movies have like heard his band's music in one of them. But it's not like someone from The Strokes or something big or like whatever. But this is like a successful rock star, who had just lost his father a couple weeks earlier and was grieving. I'm a double Scorpio, so I was like, we can talk about death at 2 a.m. at the bar right now. I'm here.
Let's process.
Let's
some
go,
shit.
baby. Yeah, and so we like hit it off emotionally immediately.
Yeah.
And then I had an epic $3,000 hand job party. Yeah.
Damn.
1 hour.
Damn
It was
girl.
so fun. It was like this whole thing we worked out in the negotiation where he really liked seeing outfits, and I love the fashion.
And you were so new.
And I was so new, and
Oh
I had
my
all this fashion.
God.
Yeah. So
Cute.
most of the party was me putting on different outfits and dancing for him in one of the specialty rooms.
Yeah.
And then the last 10 minutes we agreed, because you agree to like exact activity that's going to happen.
Which BDSM alert, like this is
yes, you talk
so
about
involved in that too. That's great. Yes.
time, activity, and money is what you agree on.
Hell yeah.
And so we agreed in the last 10 minutes, I will touch you. But until
That's
that,
hot.
no touching.
The build up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we were literally, he was sitting all the way across the room from me as I'm dancing, and he was touching himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably a kink of his. That's hot.
So yeah, that was how I kicked off my brothel career.
Fuck yes, dude.
Very epic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Also though, I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel like people do need to hear this. You give half the money to the house.
okay, yes, let's
Yeah.
tell all of these
Like,
things. Okay.
Can we insert like sad music?
Okay, so $15 hand job.
So
is a
yeah, what I
$750 take home.
it was 3,000
Oh, that's right.
top
Oh,
line, so
1,500
I
take
made 1,500 on that. Sometimes you actually owe the house more than 50%. It depends on if the client used the house driver.
This feels so archaic and like
I
out of a
know,
movie.
it's crazy.
Weird.
And that includes 50% of tips and everything.
Okay.
And then also you pay your own room and board, you pay all your medical fees, you pay for your business license in Nevada, you pay for
Whoa.
every quarter you have to get your background check and fingerprints done at the sheriff's office and get your card so you can be a card carrying whore.
Oh my God.
Today's episode of Sex Talk Radio is sponsored by the HUD app. HUD offers an alternative approach to commitment-free dating and is geared towards supporting women in exploring their sexuality and intimacy in a safe way through conversations around consent, healthy communication, and boundary setting. HUD was the first to roll out safety features like auto blur photos and video chat capabilities. I've been using the app for a little while now, and personally, my favorite feature is the bedroom feature, where I can see a glimpse into somebody's bedroom desires. So for example, it will literally say Thea's bedroom, and then BDSM, bondage, dirty talk, impact play, etc., which makes it that much easier to assess your sexual compatibility with someone. HUD is really future forward in how they're evolving their app, and I'm excited to continue using it for casual dating. Go to hudapp.com/sextalk, that's hudapp.com/SEGGS talk for a week on me. A quick note, the HUD app is available for both iOS and Android and is available to users over 18.
And
See a
so,
photo.
yeah, right.
Yes.
So it's about each round, I would say you spend between like $500 to $1,500 of startup costs, et cetera, depending on like
What do you mean each round? Each time you go?
Okay. Which is called a tour.
How many
tour.
tours did you do like your first year? Or
I did the most in my first and second year. I was going 1 to 3 weeks at a time. It's always in 1 week chunks up to like 4 weeks. So I was doing like 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks tours, and I was just going like once a month at least. I mean, I was like, you
were doing it.
I was building it up, and then I way slowed it down, which is awesome that you can do that because you're an independent contractor. Yeah. So you just have to work out your schedule with the madame. Normal. Email the madame.
Mommy,
I want to come in. Yeah. She'll see if she has room for me because there's only 25 girls there at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And unfortunately, it's very straight. So it's only cis females at this time. As far as I know. As for all of the 19 brothels, I'm pretty sure.
And so they also justify taking such a high percentage because they probably have a lot of fees?
Because it's owned by men. It's not.
But there are lots of, like, it's hard to get one of the licenses, right?
Yes, you can't really get a license. You have to buy it off one that already exists. There are no new licenses. It's like casinos. It's very rare for them to add a license to the state.
So there was like 19 or so in Nevada.
Post-pandemic, there used to be more.
Okay. And so buying, like, you would have to actually buy one of the building. Like, you'd have to, like,
You'd have to buy the whole establishment, and there's a ton of rules about what you would be able to update and what you couldn't. Like, you have to have the original foundation still there because it can't be like
That's
a
what
new,
got licensed.
Yeah. But that being said, I'm pretty sure you could renovate the fuck out of them and they need it. So I'm like, please do it.
Work to do.
Please, I'll help you. Yeah, so I like talking about the money because I just want people to know. And also I want people to, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with them for saying that, but I feel like it's part of my Robin whoring education for the world.
Thank you for sharing. Good word.
Yeah, to educate people who are interested in going and participating as clients to have more of an idea of like,
I agree.
You can't find real information.
We can talk about all the women, but I think it's also important. I think it's important to me to also help destigmatize sex work for clients.
Yes, exactly. So I want them to have like a little overview because you can't really find this info reliably online. And to know that these courtesans are the best in the biz and it is worth the price and you will leave happy. And yes, it sounds like 2 hours is not a lot of time for $10K plus money, but brothel time moves in slow motion. It's so intense. You're capturing in slow motion.
Fascinating.
That's what I tell my clients. So like 2 hours feels like 4 because you're so intensely in it.
Yeah. And it's so much more than sex. Like that's,
right.
I've just heard a lot of like, there's a lot of therapy. Yeah. A lot of taking care of the emotions.
Yes, exactly.
Or like a rare outlet for a client to actually even have that deep of a connection.
Or even to have touch. Like I have a lot of disabled clients. I have one client who's like a gold medalist Special Olympics athlete that whose family pays for him to be able to do this because he deserves to have cuddles and touch and like it's not even intercourse. It's, yeah, it's
Everyone deserves cuddles.
Intimacy.
And orgasms.
I know, right?
I love that.
I actually like usually heartfelt cry during seeing that client because it's your heart swells.
It's so much more like there's so much more to it. Would you be comfortable sharing how much money you made in your first year doing that? Or?
Yeah, I would say like working in, I'll just tell you when I hit 6 figures was after like 6 weeks of touring, which were not in a row.
Right, some were 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So I think between like my 6th to 8th week of touring, I was already in the 6 figures. I had already, once I got above 40K, I got an LLC because that's when it's worth it. So I basically like incorporated as a small corporation. And
you weren't spending any money while you were there, right?
No, which is the nice part too, is that like, well, you pay your room and board and your fees, but then
you're not out shopping.
That pays for your food and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I spent like 20 grand of it immediately to move back across country because I had, during the pandemic, I had done a little year in Ohio where I'm from because everything was shut down. Yeah. So I was like, let me go live in nature for a bit. No, I got my own.
Okay. I know.
The whore living at the religious household. I could not.
It's just a part of your movie. Do it for the plot. But you were near them? Like
but
you
I was
spent
near
time
them.
with them?
Yeah. Okay. It's like 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in like the one gay town that there is because I'm super queer bi, so like I needed a safety net.
Some of your people.
Yeah. Yeah, a little gay artsy town.
Perfect.
Outside of
Got to
Cleveland.
know it exists.
Yeah, but man, I dropped that 20 grand. But how cool that I could. How cool that I could, for the first time in my fucking life,
Yep.
pay for movers.
Yes, boys. With the boxes.
She did not lift a box. She did not.
Oh my God,
I was
moving is
like,
fucking moving when you're broke as a woman fucking sucks ass.
Which, living in New York and LA, I've done it countless times.
Yep.
And like gotten the friends to help, like for pizza, because you're
Nobody
broke.
wants to actually help you. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Thank you to all my friends who have ever helped me move. This is for you. No, but I love also treating my friends now that I have money.
Totally.
You know?
Same.
Okay, so this kind of brings us back to the Jackpot sugar situation I'm in now.
Also, I like to just make like the point and distinction that it wasn't like either of you and I, like our journeys to do this necessarily from a place like the sugar dating from a place of complete scarcity. And there's absolutely literally fucking nothing wrong with that either at all.
Right.
It's just the point that there's different types of sex work and there's different intention.
Well, I think sometimes it can blow people's mind that you could do sex work not out of desperation, but by choice.
Exactly, because it's such a stigma of exactly who the caricature of a sex worker.
Oh, and believe me, I can't even count how many times I've been in the bar, in the brothel, and met someone. And I always like to tell them, you know, they're having their drink or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, so you're actually in my fantasy right now. I don't know if you realize, but... I've been waiting to do this for years. I'm an artist. This is my kink. So thank you for being in my fantasy.
They're like, what?
And they're like, you like this? They assume I'm sad. They assume I'm desolate. And like, I'm like,
sure. And I even had my own judgments about it. And so that's why I was really excited to have somebody on that had actually worked in a brothel and had that experience, because we all have our own.
And then also that speaks to something we didn't talk about yet, but the privilege of getting into legal sex work and not being, I was not trafficked. I was not on the street for, you know, this is my only source of income. Like, yeah, I've been a broke artist for a really long time, but I had janitorial jobs, I had minimum wage jobs, I had like normal jobs that I was scraping together to pay the bills. So I was not completely desperate, and that is a privilege.
It is absolutely a privilege.
Yeah. And also being white, because it's more often people of color that are sex workers that get arrested. And being cis, it's more often trans people that are sex workers that are getting arrested. So like... That's why I'm like, you know what? I am going to say all the shit about the money, even if I maybe do get in trouble with, I don't think, I can't legally get in trouble, but I don't know if I'll burn a bridge by talking about this publicly with the ranch I work at. But someone has to do it. And like, I'm so privileged, I should do it.
Right.
It is on me to do it.
Having the ability for us to reach a ton of people, there's certain things we just have to share.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I have come with the sugar dating
coming
stuff,
out,
because it's just like, it's just really owning my multifaceted nature. I can be entrepreneurial and have scaled and built companies and also do this for fun, and it's a kink, and just like dropping the fear of if a family member hears it, if you know. It's just what I want to do is so much bigger.
Yes.
And I want the conversations, like the energy of this conversation, to just be more fun and lighthearted and playful. And not that there can't be negative, heavy, and fucked up shit that happens in these worlds, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they're just important conversations.
Yeah. And that's reminding me of like a mantra I came to in therapy, which was right before I decided to first talk about this stuff on air on other shows, was... You're welcome to love me. Okay, here's how it goes. I'm going to be right here. You're welcome to love me. If not, that's okay. That's it. Yeah. Because I love me. Yeah. I don't have shame about this. I actually think I'm helping so many people with the work I do. I think that ripple effect is huge.
Same.
And yes, you are. Big time. And so if I realized if anyone's choosing not to love me because of that, you know, namely like if my family found out and was not going to love me because of that,
right?
Man, that sucks for them. That's so sad because I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
But for real.
And you know, something I remember hearing Dan Sauvage talk about was like the only leverage you have with family dynamics, if you're coming out about various things, is your relationship with them is the leverage you have. And there are certain times when relationships get strained and come closer and farther away with family, but like Yeah, we've got big messages to create.
Yes. And I think I can tell from your energy, you're a happy person. You're generally doing well and enjoying your life. So if they're like worried about you or
Right.
upset or sad or not liking you because of some of your choices, that is their loss because you are happy.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
really am right now I can say that honestly for the first time in a long time though.
right.
There's been
Me
a,
too.
Recently.
I heard that happiness is gratitude and autonomy. So being able to make your own choices and also feeling grateful makes you happy.
Love that.
And I think we're both doing that, especially with your coming out. You're probably feeling a wave of that autonomy.
Yeah, just full
Yeah.
circle. It feels very full circle for me. And it's not like right now actively a huge part of my dating life. But yeah, it just feels authentic to be talking about it because I'm starting to realize like most of my guests are sex workers. And I'm like,
right,
okay.
there's a pattern.
Yeah.
I love us. I love sex workers. Truly doing the Lord's work. If there was a God.
It's a very old profession. It's been
It's-
around the whole
right?
time.
So I did come out to my mom about, I didn't go into all the detail of working at the brothel, but I explained what sugar dating is and what I do with my OnlyFans. And so she's the daughter of a Hungarian nun, my grandmother. So like,
Wow.
she's the first generation here and like the ultra religion just goes so far back. So she was very shocked, but she is a Scorpio and she is an evolved human and she was able to come around and understand. And it was just really funny because she goes at one point in the weekend when I told her, she was like, Gigi, Jesus even loved the prostitutes. It was her way of understanding it.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Wherever we need to compartmentalize
Yes.
this, Mom. Yes.
Yes.
He did.
yeah. And I was like, of course he did. They are doing the Lord's work. They're healing people. Like, yes, I did not correct her that I am not a prostitute. A courtesan is actually kind of the opposite of a prostitute because the definition of that word is like the illegal part of it. So when you're doing legal sex work, you're actually not a prostitute. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You're a courtesan. On paper, it says courtesan.
Wow. I like
Yeah.
that word.
I do
Somebody called me
too.
that recently, and I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Remember in Moulin Rouge? Did you ever see that movie?
No, I had a weird childhood. Or, I mean, wait, maybe.
Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman?
When
It's
I
a
was
Baz
younger.
Luhrmann film. Okay,
When
yes.
I was younger. Yes, but it's not like
musical.
a fresh. Are there?
Yeah. Well, she's a
courtesans
courtesan.
in it?
She is. Nicole Kidman is the sparkling diamond, the premier courtesan of the Moulin Rouge
Isn't
in
it
Paris.
like a PG though? Is it not a PG?
Isn't it's like maybe 13? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So should we go back to now?
Yeah.
So then I re-entered the sugar world with
Okay.
this newfound sense of like my value and also just what kind
I call
of money.
the shots. This more dominant.
Yes,
entertainment
I
to
call
it.
the shots. Well, because in the brothel, for my own safety, I just decided before starting I'm not going to be submissive. It just for me, I didn't want to go there. If you're literally going to be submissive in the brothel, this is very interesting. If you're going to actually have a BDSM appointment, the client has to hire a second girl, usually at a lower rate because she's not doing anything sexually with you, but she has to stand in the room and watch.
Wow.
Like if you're going to be restrained or if you're going to be hit,
Sure.
the client has to pay for a second
That makes
woman.
sense.
Isn't that awesome?
That's great.
I
and
love
also,
the safety there.
Again, just the benefits of sex, like a sex
Of
in
a legal
framework.
environment. The safety is amazing.
Well, I feel like I've heard mixed things. Like it can
Really?
be about completely legalizing sex work. Like I
Oh,
think that the
yes,
first
there's
step is decriminalizing it, so
Yes.
that neither the workers nor the clients are getting
Yeah.
arrested, which is
Yeah.
fucking nuts to think that that's even happening.
I know.
So I know that there's pros and cons to full legalization, but that kind of thing where everyone's getting STI screening and another woman in the room for safety, like, that's very
For any,
cool.
if you're going to be submissive. But I just mean, I wasn't going to be even submissive in like attitude. I just decided
Can't quite imagine that,
leading-
but-
yeah. Now I am a nurturing dom. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
Mommy
kind of a
dom is
soft
my
dom.
vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you're such a
Funny
good
enough,
boy.
I love being daddy. So I'm like daddy dom. Just I don't know why. Maybe because I'm not going to have kids. It
Yeah.
makes more sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have that maternal thing, but I guess I am nurturing. The nuance. Anyways, so I became this goddess dom
Okay.
and
great.
then re-entered the sugar world and pretty quickly manifested my current situation that we were just going to start talking about, where this man is much older, more than twice my age, opposite as far as looks from me. Like total goober, total like just a face for radio, we'll say.
What does that mean?
You've never heard that? It means like not traditionally attractive.
Okay.
I'm being very nice. The classy way of saying
I'm
it.
a sapiosexual. Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
The
right,
looks.
right.
Yeah, if I can get the intellectual
Oh.
stimulation as time goes on.
I mean, dynamic. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And total worshiper. So he is like my number one. Literally, the first date when we got this jacket after, within like 5 minutes, he leaned over the table and was like, "You're gonna be famous. You know that, right?" Like just complete worship, completely.
And just sees you and where you're going.
And
What's
sees
happening.
me in the highest light. Also understands that I'm a woman cycling, meaning I have these 4 seasons I'm going through with my cycle every month. And like my attitude and energy is going to be different. And if I am seeing you consistently,
Yeah.
like you're going to be seeing different sides, you know?
Yes. Get ready to ride the waves.
Yeah, let's go. And I mean, I guess whatever you want to know. I'm like, the rest is history. Like,
Wow. Had
we
he
hit it off.
explored submission in the past?
so he knew he was submissive by nature, but so much of what we done has been firsts for him because,
Aw.
like, listen, this is someone who was born in the 1950s, and that generation,
Has he been married?
he has been married, is separated for like over 9 years. I know
He's done the
all
whole thing.
about, and I know all about that side of his life. We're very honest. And so that generation just didn't get to be so sexually free like us. So,
But they had the same desires.
but they
It
had
just
the
wasn't
same
permission.
desires. Yes. So I feel like I'm this fountain of youth for him because I bring this young, fresh, creative sexual energy, and I make it, like you said, you feel with me, very comfortable and safe to talk about
Telling
these
you
deep
all our
things.
fucking secrets.
Immediately. So he kind of knew he was submissive, but he hadn't done officially like BDSM sessions, or
Yeah.
he hadn't even been masturbating. He hadn't had an orgasm in years before meeting me.
Holy fuck. Was he new to the site? Did you like
No,
swoop
he
him?
had. I
Oh.
did my normal screening, and yes, he had one past arrangement.
Okay.
That lasted, I think, about 3 years.
Wow.
And I was able to ask about like her allowance and everything. And now that I've known him, because it's been almost a year and a half, so now I have
Wow.
even more details about that past relationship. And
Yeah.
basically that girl didn't play the long game, is all I'm gonna say, because she kind of burned out on the sexual side of things. And so, well, that's what kills relationships, you know? Like if the
Yeah.
sex goes, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a friendship, roomies. Yeah.
And then, you know, it's really fun because like we don't have PDA. We're completely professional in public. If anyone asks, we're friends. So like, even with me talking about this, you won't know. You won't know if the old guy I'm with is this guy or a business partner or a friend. I will not tell you.
Why is that important to you?
Because I'm a Scorpio and I think it's more fun. I think it's more like
You want the mystery.
the mystery.
People
Yeah.
to be
I don't want to
thinking
give them
about it.
everything. I already give so much of my life, you know, like information out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't, you know what it is? It's like, I don't like giving them the satisfaction of seeing the PDA because they're not paying for it. I'm like,
Hey.
I'm not going to show you for free. Like sometimes I feel like that at the beach. I'm like, I'm wearing a thong bikini and all these people are seeing for free. Like that's what I sell on my OnlyFans. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it seems like you guys have a really beautiful relationship.
It is. And this is okay. So when I was going to manifest this relationship and get back on Seeking, I got really clear because I do this
Sex
for
magic?
I did. Hella sex magic at the ranch, at the brothel. Because
Oh, a lot of sexual energy there.
think about it,
Yeah.
those grounds, people are orgasming all the time. People are happy all the time. Those grounds, like that actual place is so magical.
Damn.
That's how I got Cosmo too. I would tell my clients I write for Cosmo before I was like full time, before I was
Yeah.
consistent. I only
Yeah.
had that one article.
Yeah.
But I was like, I write for Cosmo.
Yeah, you fucking do.
Here we are. Very magical place for manifesting. And I literally do spell work there. I bury it in the ground. Like
Wow.
yeah, full on. So
We some witchy girls.
I was there and I was, yeah, we are. I was thinking about, like I do for any dating, anytime I'm single and I'm setting out for a new relationship, I get very specific about what I want in the magical other person. I said I wanted someone less than attractive. I wanted to be the shining star this time. I wanted to see what that was like.
Did you feel the opposite in your
In my-
long-term relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
In my past, well, we didn't talk about this one, but I had a past one with another hottie, and it was different, you know? Sometimes the hotties are entitled. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you want...
I don't date the hotties.
Right?
I don't know how
you're the
else to say
hottie.
it. It sounds,
you're the hottie.
it sounds, but like, there's just this certain breed of guys, they're specifically on Bumble, where I see them and I'm like, you're gonna ruin my life.
Yep.
You're gonna cheat on me. You're gonna ruin my, like, it's just, I can't.
Or you're not going to be so grateful.
No. Like, I don't want the 6-pack. I want loyalty.
Yeah. Quote her.
Yeah.
Like, please.
Fellas, don't worry about the 6-pack.
Yes. I want that. I want the worship. I don't want the 6-pack. I want the worship, like, and the money. And when they, and like, when I saw my sub's picture for the first time, I like turned to my bestie, my whore bestie, and I was like, he knows he has to pay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The power dynamic.
He knows he has to pay.
Yeah. Instead of this, also, ladies, warning, sometimes guys will get weird on Seeking and just try to negotiate with you or be like, you know, I'm actually not really looking for anything transactional. And it's like, bro, go to Hinge.
Exactly.
Like,
Why
I've
are
totally
you on
had
this
those
site?
conversations. So try to talk about money as early on, because it might be a guy that doesn't
Absolutely.
even want any type of financial element.
Absolutely. Also, specifically on that site, one more tip.
Yeah.
If they paid for the membership so that they don't have to list what their net worth is, they probably have a lot of money. That's how my sub was. Because they're able to pay for the site, and
I've seen
super rich
that.
people want to pay for things.
Yeah.
They don't want free. They don't like coupons.
Yeah.
Crazy, I know.
Yeah.
But they want to pay.
You can also
so like
search by net worth.
you can.
But
yeah,
you can
if
also
they're-
lie.
if they're exactly, if they're paying to not have to show it, they have it. Noted. So where were we at with the sub? Worshiping. Okay, so I knew
right away, there's a vibe.
I wanted less than attractive. I wanted to be the shining star. I wanted someone not super creative, because I've dated other artists and it can just be so much.
Yeah. I'm like, I've
much.
decided I think I want an entrepreneur, but then sometimes I'm like, you know, maybe I want a little
Maybe
stay-at-home
someone who's
daddy.
at the ladder. Yeah, or climbing the corporate ladder, like has,
Maybe,
you know.
Stability.
Stability, exactly. I basically wanted them to have like a boring business job. I wanted them to be someone who specifically gets off on giving. I wanted the generosity and the money
Love
kink
that.
to be theirs as
Because
well.
then that matches. Your kinks match.
Exactly. And then I think those were the main ones, like 4 solid things. And then he is all of that. The giving started, like I said, before we even met up. He was paying over $500 for my hair appointment. We had done the phone call. We could feel it was a good vibe.
Yeah.
And we are, to this day, I call us window and aisle, because we're so opposite. And literally, he likes sitting at the aisle, I like sitting at the window.
You're like, hey.
But yeah, we are.
You've traveled together?
Yes.
Fun.
We are total opposites, and he's my number one cheerleader, my number one fan. He's there for me whenever I call. It's a real relationship, you know, and there's real love there.
Yeah.
And he's never felt a love like this in his life. Like, I'm his everything.
You're giving him such a beautiful life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like I'm like the grand finale of his life, which hopefully is a lot longer, but like,
Right.
you know, he's older and
Right.
just shy of 70.
Wow.
And I'm it for him.
Yeah.
I'm it. And so he wants to give me the world.
Can we talk about
And let's
how much
talk
that
about
is?
that. And now, and like they've waited for this.
Bring it.
I'm wearing, you guys, okay, just for 1 second, like I grew up so poor. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The come up is so real, literally. I am wearing an 18 karat, like real
so
gold
cute.
Gucci necklace, GG, my name.
Oh, yeah.
My name tag.
Yeah.
That was probably, I think, close to $3,000. On my hands, I'm wearing, God, please don't rob me, people seeing this. I'm like, am I setting myself up here? I would have about $5,000 to $6,000 on my hands in real jewelry right
girl.
now. You already heard about the jacket.
I just buy the fake diamonds because it's still a fake.
It looks,
I'm faking it till I
honestly,
make it.
Also, it looks the same. You wouldn't necessarily know. It's just you can wash your hands with these on.
Yeah.
And it won't turn green. But
Daddy. Well, maybe not.
not daddy.
What's
He's
his-
actually not daddy. He's my love or my sub.
Do you talk every day?
No, because I had to set boundaries because, you know, submissives can They can be annoying sometimes.
There can be a lot of
they need attention.
anxious attachment that comes with
And codependency type. Yeah. For a sub, looking up to you. So no, we don't talk every day. I would say at the beginning we talked more because we were getting to know each other. But we have this thing called radio silence where I say like, I need radio silence to get in my creative zone. And that means until you hear from me, this could be days from now, this could be a week from now, you don't talk. You don't message me.
Because I'm in charge.
Because I'm in charge. And he respects that and he likes that.
That's beautiful.
But no, I would say, okay, I'll just give you the trajectory of how the money came in.
Okay.
First, it was paying for experiences and clothes and things. About 3 weeks to a month in, we were seeing each other at least once a week at the beginning. He set me up with an Amazon Prime account. That was the first big thing because then I could buy groceries.
I spend so much on Amazon.
Right? Who doesn't? So then
Amazon Daddy.
Amazon Daddy. Then I could order anything I needed for the house and also groceries through Whole Foods through Amazon. So I went from like Trader Joe's.
This is also PSA, a great way to make it not feel so fucking transactional.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're nourishing me. You're getting my food. You're getting me taken care of. I love that. By a month and a half in, he said, I love you for the first time. And I said it back, even though for me at that point, it was more like, I love you, like I adore you. But how could I not love him? How could I not grow to really love him when he provides for me, he nurtures me? Then at that point, I asked for him to start paying my rent. And he said he would split it with me, which I thought was reasonable because we were only knowing each other 5 or 6 weeks. But by the very next month, he was already paying all of it, all the rent.
Patience. This is a good reminder in patience because I've never had very long-term
and
arrangements.
Trust building. Like any relationship, he has to trust me too that I'm not just gonna disappear or whatever, screw him over, steal his identity or something, whatever. So let's say we're at like 2 months in, he's paying for all my rent. Let me think. July, August, September, October. Okay, by the 4th month, this was a huge changing point because I had arranged a photo shoot. I did all the style. This is what I always do. It's styling, hair, like directing, modeling, got the location, whatever. It was like a full-on photo shoot for my brand. And he got to come be a fly on the wall and watch me work for the first time.
Cute.
His mind was blown getting to see me in my element, directing the crew, also modeling, also looking amazing, doing everything. He saw all the work I put in. Yes, he got to see it firsthand.
Fuck yeah.
Literally right after, gave me the credit card for the first time.
I got chills.
I now have 3 credit cards in my name. He pays for them completely. I don't have to pay for anything anymore. And I have leniency to like use my own discretion. I don't ask him before I charge anything. And that started with the Amazon account. Like that was the baby steps.
Right.
I remember he said, if it's going to be above 10,000, let me know, but I trust you.
Holy fuck.
So these cards have
like... It feels like there's a little bit of a FinDom element.
There is.
Financial.
Oh, there is. Oh, he gets
like
off
a little
on like...
beyond,
Well, because he knows how I have a money kink too. We're very open about it. So he'll even be like, I know this is going to get your money kink going. Here's blah, blah, blah. Like he'll show me projections for the business of how much we're bringing in or whatever. Yeah. So I have 3 credit cards. He also will just give me cash anytime I travel or anytime I need to have cash on hand to tip people. We're
naughty. I kind of like the naughtiness of cash.
Right? Yeah. The cold, hard cash. We're both really generous people anyways. Like even when I was broke, I was treating my friends and I was a generous person.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I can feel that from you.
Put us first, though.
So we tip really well. I know. We tip really well everywhere we go. And like I said, we're spilling over this
delightful. Like I feel like his energy still how you share about it.
He is the sweetest. We love him.
All
my friends love him. Like he's a genuinely generous rich person. Yeah. He grew up with some money, but really made his millions like later in life. So I think he has an appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Versus just being into like complete wealth, being born into that. And what else does he do? Well, through like, I have to think for a second of exactly how to say this on air. Basically, I kind of like work for him in a way, not through the sex, but like I kind of am like his creative consultant and like help him a bit. So some of the money also comes through my business because he's writing a check every month for all the things I help him with. So life is paid for with the credit cards. Business is making money with the LLC. And rent is obviously paid and all the bills are paid. And anything I want to endeavor to do, he supports.
Wow.
Oh, we also pay for my family. We send my family money, and we like paid for all 10 of my core family to get together last year and have a 3-day vacation. Cute. And then like I personally pay for my parents to be in therapy for the first time in their lives because I'm all about the mental health.
Yay.
Yeah. So
not your role, but fuck.
Well,
whatever
I think it
takes.
weirdly is in this lifetime, just
Yeah,
the
I
way our
guess in this-
souls are here. I'm like, I'm older than them.
Yeah.
I'm older than my parents.
Totally.
Yeah, and I want to help them. So
Wow.
we're sitting
So-
pretty, baby.
And
We're
you
sitting
and,
pretty.
and so what are some of the projects you're working on right now? Because you have
So,
4,000 things going on.
literally, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm designing the second version of the Sexiest deck alive. So
Fuck yeah.
it has 10 more new cards. And oh my God, that's another thing is he bought me a new iMac and a new iPad.
It's a great it's a great feeling to get a new fresh technology.
Yeah, and the second phone to shoot the content, like all the new tech. Yeah. Yeah, please touch the cards. They're so she's pulling. I love the switch. What'd you get?
I'm pulling
What'd you
a card. Open your mind. Ooh.
Open your
Do
legs,
you want
open your
more,
mind.
bigger, better. Then you must be open to receiving. So dream big, open your mind the fuck up.
Blur
then
this.
literally spread your arms and legs open and repeat the mantra, I am open to receiving.
I am open to receiving. I'm blocking it for camera.
'Cause
I'm
it's
open
wet?
to
Oh.
receive. No, because it's like my crotch shot.
Dude, okay.
That's insane that you pulled that. And we just talked about how women need to be open to receiving. Like men are craving to give to women.
And bigger and better. And also just, I mean, I literally made almost 10 grand I made 10 grand.
Right, and you just
All right.
Yeah, that card is open your legs, open your mind. Also,
Love
you
it.
pulled the only card that has a spread leg shot. It's artistic. It's
Oh, is that you?
that's me.
That's you?
Yeah, there's other models in the deck,
your
but
vagina.
for the super nude, I had to do myself because it's hard to
Show it to the camera.
blocking,
Blur.
blur.
I didn't even notice it.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, so you're
artistic.
working on.
So I'm working
4,000
on
things.
the version 2 of this. I have 4 one-act erotic radio plays. So there'll be audio to listen to, but I think I will publish the scripts on Substack as well. You can
Cool. I
follow
like
my
Substack
Substack.
stuff.
Yeah.
Great.
And then literally nonstop writing for Cosmo. I write the erotic short stories that I've lived that are nonfiction. And then I also write for the sex and relationships section, just different pieces. Like one just came out about masturbation and how often you masturbate. And I surveyed people.
What was some of the survey findings?
The results were that it's all over the map. And the question was really, are you satisfied with how much you're doing it? Or do you wish you were doing it more or less? And it seemed like a lot of women wished they were doing it more. And a lot of guys, which all their responses weren't included, but I know like the full picture.
Right.
A lot of guys were very satisfied with how much they were doing it. And it was a lot more than women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys check off so much.
But it seemed like women wanted to be doing it more, but they were getting busy with other things and just like not prioritizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all the Cosmo stuff constant. And then I also write for Boy Slut, like I said, and a couple others coming up that I can't name drop yet.
Amazing.
What else? Oh, and then my OnlyFans. I'm just constantly creating in there. You never know what you're going to get in the Good Ass Goddess. It's all over
Go
the place.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Well, also what I love about you is like, I think, with the cultural narrative of sex work or sugar dating, they would think that somebody in your situation wouldn't bat
do
an eyelash
anything.
to work or do anything when it's actually
Because you could just sit at home.
Yeah. And that's also okay if you want to do
that's
that and
great.
you find that. But I just really love that it's given you that breathing room to fucking go for all of the other
And that's what my sub loves too, because he's so inspired. He's not creative at all in his own words. So like he's so inspired
he just gets to watch you blossom.
Yes. And I literally so I used to see him once a week. We had to lower it to twice a month because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And in between seeing him, I'm constantly working. He's basically paying, and he knows this. We talk about this. He's supporting me to build the career I want because all this stuff takes so much time. As you know, as an entrepreneur, it's like this didn't exist without you. You know what I mean? Like you're creating from scratch. You're getting the guests, you're booking the studio, you're doing the edit. Like
There's
it's
a lot.
so much. And even for one Cosmo piece, that takes me like more than a week of solid working days to have a polished piece that's what, like 1,500 to 2,000 words. That takes
Wow.
a long time to
Yeah.
write it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
We're doing it all.
We're doing it all.
Yeah.
I would love to get some advice from you for, I think, women that are curious about both sugar dating as well as brothel work and creativity. So if you could speak to maybe 3 different people, like an artist and a...
Oh, I love that. And
that's
maybe
usually how I wrap up my pod. Little
yes,
advice.
yes. And I love that might be one person at the same time like us, you know? They're
Totally.
doing it all.
Or like things to be... I think I also want to be clear that like we are just 2 people's experiences when
Yes,
it comes
we
to
don't know
sex
it
work
all.
and brothel work. And like, I just want, maybe you could even shed some light on that. Safety precautions.
Yeah, and I think what I'm going to say, what's coming to mind speaks to all 3 of those at once.
Great.
So, first off, get on your own team like we talked about. Learn to fucking love yourself. Learn to fly. Because if you're not already there, you're making this all harder on yourself and it's not going to flow. If you're not loving yourself, that shit is not flowing. Secondly, voice and sex are intrinsically linked. So you either need to be speaking about or writing about whatever these dreams are that you're trying to do in any of these sexual or creative realms. They're linked. If you look at the anatomy from a bird's eye view of the larynx and the throat, and then if you look at the vaginal canal,
Just talked
or
about this with a friend.
You did?
Yes. The girl you met earlier, Tammy. Yes.
Oh, nice, amazing. They're the same shape. They're the same. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Also, those chakras, there's a note for every chakra. They're the only 2 that harmonize.
Whoa.
Yeah, I forget what the 3 and 5
like
or
life
whatever.
creation and using your voice.
Yes,
They're very important.
And I think voice can totally be writing. So that leads me to, in a tactful way, you can do morning pages from the Artist Way. It's one of the top like artist exercises I recommend. I've done it for years and years. I have stacks of notebooks. It's just first thing when you wake up, you handwrite 3 pages, just blah, just get it out.
Wow.
It's not your novel. You don't even ever have to reread it, but it opens your fucking flow to just right away 3 pages.
Yeah.
And also it ends up being therapeutic. You see the shit that's going on in your head and you can help yourself. So love yourself and get on your own team. Realize that your voice and sex are linked. So if one or the other is blocked, it's affecting everything. And you got to clear both of those by using them, whether that means masturbation or whatever you need to do, but you need to start opening or screaming or having a tantrum on the bed. I like to do that once in a while.
Same.
Get those open so that they can flow. And, while you're at it, I guess do the sex magic. Don't waste those orgasms because that shit is powerful.
Totally.
Yeah. So just think about what you want during those times. So did we hit it? Artist,
I was
sex
just
worker?
going to say advice for maybe somebody younger and curious about sex work in either format.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to try and to fail and to know that you've got you. And hopefully you can have access to therapy along this journey so you can work through what you're working through. But really to give yourself permission. And if you want to read my articles to give you inspiration for permission, do it.
Totally.
Like if I could
Give me
come,
permission.
Yeah. And like, I'm breaking that generational healing of like my grandma was really a nun in Hungary, like she was a nun in Hungary and I'm an American whore. You can do it. Like you can give yourself that permission and you don't need to have a trauma like I did to wake you up to it. You can just realize what you're doing right now. Who are you living your life for? Do it for your fucking self. Give yourself absolute permission to do what you desire. We are desire-led creatures. Do what you desire. Please don't hurt people.
Yes, baby.
Though. Please be safe.
Or the madame will kick their ass or
Yes.
yours.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I feel like that's a fucking epic note to end this on.
And I love the card you pulled.
Yeah.
Open your legs, open your mind, like receive, baby.
Go buy her deck and read all of her articles.
Thanks, baby. Yes. I'm going to fan myself with
right.
these because I'm still sweating.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Sex Talk Radio. Be sure to connect with us on social media at Sex Talk Radio Podcast and learn more about my free online community at sexysociety.com.